vous avez un gouvernement qui dit je veux rien faire. Air Canada est conforme à la loi. Je veux pas faire de plan de sauvetage. J'ai vu qu'il y a eu un forum de l'emploi hier. Là, ça a été organisé par vous autres là, pour que les gens d'Emploi Québec et les autres puissent trouver une façon de faire un transfert d'emploi, puis c'est correct. Ma première question, là, puis elle est bien claire. Est-ce que Aveos vous paye pas parce qu'ils vous ont dit on va vous payer en autant que vous ne poursuivez pas?
Je n'ai pas entendu ça. Je l'ai pas entendu. Vous avez peut-être raison, par exemple.
Est-ce que ça se peut? M. Atkinson.
Peut-être que présentement, du fait qu'on met de la pression au niveau des gouvernements, puis qu'on essaye de ramener notre monde à l'ouvrage, peut-être qu'eux autres, de leur côté, mettent de la pression d'une autre façon en les payant pas, en donnant pas de cessation d'emploi. Ça serait vraiment... Je dirais pas le mot ici, je pense que...
On l'a entendu dans votre pensée,
il n'est pas disable.
OK. Mais il n'y a pas eu de... M. Brosseau, il n'y a pas eu de ce genre de choses-là du côté.
C'est quoi votre question?
Ma question, c'est, ça se peut-tu qu'AVS vous dit, écoute, on va te payer en autant que tu me signes un papier comme quoi vous ne poursuivrez pas?
Avec nous autres?
Oui.
Hey, non.
Non? Ils n'ont pas essayé ça?
Non.
OK.
Ben non.
Tant mieux. Non, mais regarde, c'est des sauvages, ils sont partis.
Que vous puissiez en douter.
Ils sont partis avec la machine à coke, fait qu'ils peuvent bien vous demander n'importe quoi, là. Bon. Mr. Atkinson, listen, I think it's totally disgusting what's going on right now, and I feel that we have to do something about it, and we have to chew gum and walk at the same time. So the judicial issue is as important, but of course it won't bring you immediately some bread and butter on the table because you have to take a look and take care of the people first so they can get a job or at least keep them. I don't understand the issue between should the government, the provincial government, or the union should sue Air Canada or Avios, well, Avios in that case, or to find a way to make sure that Air Canada comply within the law. Just in a short time, you said you're ready. You don't want to talk about it, but you're ready to do so. Is that my understanding, that the union would be ready to sue Air Canada to make sure that they comply with the law?
That's something that's been discussed with our legal, and that's about as far as I can go right now.
Is it possible that if the international doesn't want to do it because of some other interests or some strategic reason, would it be possible that the regional compound of your union would be able then to sue Air Canada? If, for example, Winnipeg or Quebec wants to do it by themselves, would it be possible to do so?
I guess it would be possible, but we don't have a problem with our international. International Vice President Dave Ritchie has made it very clear that we will do whatever is necessary.
OK, good. Monsieur Poirier, bon, évidemment, on connaît votre langage coloré. On regarde évidemment vers l'avenir. Le gouvernement du Canada dit qu'il veut rien faire. Il s'assit sur ses mains. Il veut pas faire de plan de sauvetage. C'est pas moi qui le dis, c'est le ministre lui-même. Il a laissé tomber ses responsabilités, puis le gouvernement vous a laissé tomber. Ceci étant, comment on est capable du côté du gouvernement du Québec ou du gouvernement du Manitoba, parce que j'ai parlé également au premier ministre du Manitoba qui veut tout faire pour vous aider, puis évidemment, du côté de l'Ontario, c'est la même chose. Sur le plan politique, donc, comment vous voyez qu'on peut vous aider? On a entendu parler de comité de relance là, à Radio-Canada, par la suite, ça a suivi. Est-ce que ça, c'est juste des discussions informelles? Est-ce que, par exemple, le Fonds de solidarité pourrait être un partenaire s'il y a un autre acheteur éventuellement? Parce que, bon, vous n'êtes pas là pour payer à la place d'Aveos, mais j'imagine que si vous avez une compagnie qui est prête à venir, à ce moment-là, le Fonds de solidarité pourrait être un partenaire. Est-ce que ça, c'est une des stratégies qui est envisagée? Peut-être M. Poirier, M. Brosseau.
Ce qu'on a fait à ce niveau-là, c'est j'ai contacté le Fonds de solidarité. Je suis aussi vice-président à la FTQ, pour leur demander de regarder parmi les entreprises, parce que le Fonds de solidarité fait affaire avec toutes sortes de compagnies aérospatiales, si dans leur liste, ils ont des gens là, qui auraient soumis un intérêt par le passé ou qui pourraient soumettre un intérêt. Il n'y a personne qui a levé la main à ce moment-ci. Le Fonds de solidarité, c'est un partenaire social et économique fort au Québec. La job du Fonds de solidarité, c'est pas de gérer une entreprise ou d'en créer une. En d'autres mots, on ne fait pas de la réparation d'avions. Sauf que s'il arrivait une entreprise qui avait un plan d'affaires sérieux, mais quand on dit une entreprise qui opère et non pas une compagnie comme KKR, qui est juste une compagnie d'investissement. Je ne vous dis pas que ça l'exclut, là, mais on aimerait mieux une compagnie qui opère. Sauf que là, dans votre question, je veux dire, ce qui m'inquiète, c'est que vous semblez envoyer la balle ailleurs. C'est-à-dire qu'on vient ici rencontrer le gouvernement fédéral, puis vous envoyez la balle au Québec, aux provinces, puis au Fonds de solidarité. Là, vous êtes rendu un peu loin. Le gouvernement du Québec, on a eu quelques brefs, il n'y a pas de comité de relance comme tel. On a eu quelques contacts avec le ministère du Développement économique et de l'Innovation. Puis on leur a dit que, écoutez, eux autres ils ont comme un circuit là, avec les missions commerciales du Québec dans toutes sortes de pays ou au Canada, ou tu sais, qui développent leur circuit. Puis s'il y avait une entreprise qui est prête à acheter, il semblerait qu'il y ait une ouverture du gouvernement du Québec de donner aussi un coup de main.
Merci.
Mais c'est un item qui est fédéral. Pardon?
J'ai dit on va revenir, mon temps est fini, mais je vous remercie beaucoup de la réponse.
Monsieur Poilievre.
On compte pas et tout.
Yes, can you please indicate which section of the Air Canada Public Participation Act refers to Avios?
It obviously does not.
It does not.
Avios, no.
Which section of the Air Canada Public Participation Act refers to your union?
It does not.
It does not. So there's no section in the law then that forces your union to represent the workers that will ultimately do the overhaul and maintenance work. And there's no section in the law banning Avios from going bankrupt.
And what's your point? I think,
I'm
sir,
actually,
that
the reason I asked my question is because I'm trying to find out what you want the federal government to do with respect to the law.
Well, what we would like the federal government to do to at least respect the spirit of the law and keep the aircraft maintenance industry in Canada.
Okay, but what specific actions are you asking for?
Well, I'm not here to direct the government to do anything.
Well, presumably you have some.
Excuse me.
No.
Can I answer the question?
No,
or
you just said you're not going to answer the question.
I have to, Monsieur Coderre, on a point of order.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask for some respect, allowing the witness to respond.
I was going to ask the witness to finish his comments, and then we'll go back to Mr. Poilievre, please.
Thank you. We don't have a direction for the government when, like I said, we're not here to talk about the law. I mean, there's going to be tons and tons of lawyers right across the country that'll be dealing with this. What we're looking at is the fact that what we really need and what we're asking for is some respect for the people that have been taxpayers, citizens of this country, have been working to keep the airline going over the last 10 years.
Point of order.
Mr. Poilievre, on a point of order.
I'm sorry, I would like to move on with my question. My question was very specifically what the union was asking for from the Government of Canada, and he has not touched on that question so far. So I'm wondering if I can just move on to my next question.
I'll just ask Mr. Atkinson to wrap up his comment, and then we'll go back to questions, please.
And that's fine.
Mr. Poilievre.
We asked these same questions of the unionized and independent public servants at the Justice Department, and they confirmed as well that Avios is not mentioned in the Air Canada Public Participation Act, nor is your union, and therefore the Act, according to these unionized public servants, does not oblige Avios to continue operations or the government to bail out Avios. According to Air Canada, both equity and debt contributions to Avios over the last 5 years have reached $975 million, just under $1 billion. It appears the company Avios has burned through that $1 billion, and said that even if Air Canada gave an additional $15 million to try and keep it alive, it could not do so. Given that we've established that there's nothing in the Act that would force Avios to continue operating, and that there's nothing in the Act requiring that your union represent the employees, that leaves one option if we were to want to continue Avios's operations, and that would be a bailout. How much money do you believe a bailout would cost the Canadian taxpayers to keep Avios functioning?
And I don't think that we're here asking for a bailout in any regard. What we're asking for is support from the government that at some point that we would be open to, or that they would assist in getting someone else or another investor or operator that's interested in continuing the business of Avios and moving forward, so that our members that are out on the street have a future in a company that can carry on the business.
Could I say something? I listened to some of the testimony from the Thursday hearing. I wasn't here. And I'm impressed with this $975 million figure, which it was suggested, and I guess suggested again this morning, that Avios received something like $975 million. What in fact happened was, and I think it's what even Mr. Rovanescu said on Thursday, was that a majority of the company was sold in 2004.
Okay. Mr. Chair, first of all, I didn't pose the question to Mr. Ehrlichman, and secondly, this is not a reference. His comments do not relate to my question whatsoever. So I'm going to move on to my next question.
On a point of order, I will ask Monsieur Poilievre to continue.
You said, Mr. Atkinson, now you're saying you don't want a bailout, but during your statements you said, while all this has been unfolding, the federal government has stood by, making no effort to, quote, save this company. You've conceded that there's nothing in the Act that would save this company. That would leave a bailout, and you've now ruled that out as well. So what exactly are you asking the federal government to do?
I wouldn't say that I've ruled out a bailout. I'm not sure what the government can do for us. What we're asking is that the jobs or the employment of 2,600 people should be of interest to even the Conservative government, and that we should be worried about employment and jobs right across the country. We're asking for assistance from the government to make sure that those people get jobs in the future.
So you accept that they will not be working with Avios in the future?
I accept that Avios is gone, and I'm kind of glad that they're gone, because they don't seem to be a very good company to work for.
And Air Canada has said that it will have to replace the contract work that was previously going to Avios, and that its preference is for the replacement provider to also employ Canadians. Does that provide you with any comfort?
Well, it certainly does, yes.
And so what form do you think that could take? Do you see a new company purchasing Avios assets and hiring former Avios employees, continuing the operations to Air Canada and other clients, potentially?
I would hope so, yes. That would be our goal.
Thank you. I have to interrupt there. Mr. Todt?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to our witnesses this morning. I do want to start with acknowledging I am from Winnipeg, and I do acknowledge the impact that this has on our community, and the workers losing their jobs is devastating, and we do take that seriously. We also have to act within the context of what we're able to do. And I guess one of the questions that I have in this whole thing is there a recognition, of the challenge that the airline industry internationally and in North America has faced over the last number of years. Is there a recognition from your perspective of that?